In this lesson, we're going to learn how to solve a one-step equation. My man Dalton, how you doing?
Good.
All right, check this out, man. We're going to learn how to solve a one-step equation, okay?
Okay.
But the first thing we have to do is define a term, which is called the variable, okay? Now, a variable is something that just holds a place, all right? Between a question and the answer, that little space that's there is called the variable. Now, in math, the most common symbol we use to hold that space is X. So now we're going to talk about Mr. X, all right? So X holds that place so that when we have the answer, we know what X is, okay?
Okay.
So X is really big in the world of hip-hop music. Did you know that?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Yes, it is. Because X is always representing, man. It's representing expressions on the East Coast. It's representing equations on the West Coast. It's representing fractions. X is always representing, all right?
Okay.
So who is the richest man in the world?
Mr. X.
Exactly, because he's representing the person with the most money. Good job. So here we go. Now let's look at the equation, all right? We're going to solve a one-step equation.
Okay.
Now, equations are important in mathematics because they provide equality. So whatever happens on the left side has to happen on the right side, okay?
Okay.
In fact, the only place in the world you're really going to find equality is in a math equation. Did you know that?
Yeah.
All right. So if you look at this equation here, on the left we have 2 plus 4, and on the right we have 3 plus 3. But both sides equal 6, right? So you see this seesaw here? Mm-hmm. It's imbalanced because the left side equals the right side, all right?
Okay.
And with an equation, the rule is this. You can do anything you want to do to an equation as long as you do the same thing to both sides. If you want to add to the left, you better add to the right. If you subtract on the left, you have to do what?
Subtract to right.
That's right, you got it. All right, so let's take a look at an example. So now what we want to do is solve this equation here, okay?
Okay.
Now in math, the key to solving for X, to find out what it's representing, is to figure out what action has happened to X. So when we do things in math, it's like a verb. It's an action, right? So I just push you, right? Mm-hmm. Don't push me back. But that's an action, okay?
Okay.
So the action words in math are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Those are the actions, all right?
Okay.
So we're going to look at the equation and say what has been done to X, and then we want to undo the action that's been done. What's the opposite of addition?
Subtraction.
Very good. And what's the opposite of multiplication?
Division.
All day. So let's go ahead and solve for X since it's representing the answer, okay?
Okay.
So what has been done to X here in this problem?
It's been added.
Right. It's been added by how much?
5.
5. So what's the opposite of adding 5?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. So we want to subtract 5. But because it's an equation, we have to do the same thing to both sides. Exactly. So 5 minus 5, we take this X, we drop it like it's hot. So now X equals 12 minus 7, which is what? 12 minus 5, which is what?
7.
7. I'll give you that one. So X equals 7, all right?
Okay.
Let's take a look at another problem here. In this problem here, we want to solve for X again, right? So X is here representing the answer.
Okay.
We have to figure out what's been done to it. It's been divided by 9. What's the opposite of dividing by 9?
Multiplication.
Exactly. So we want to multiply by how much?
By 9.
Exactly, by 9. So we multiply both sides by 9 to maintain equality. These 9s cancel, and what do we do with X?
Drop it because it's hot.
There you go. We drop it like it's hot. And what's 2 times 9?
18.
18. So what is X representing?
18.
All day. Good job, Dalton. You are the man. All right. Now this example is just for you, okay?
Okay.
This is your moment to shine. You ready?
Okay.
All right. So X is representing something. We have to figure out what it is.
Okay.
What's been done to X?
It's been subtracted.
By how much?
4.
So then what do we need to do?
Drop the X because it's hot.
Right. We drop the X after we do the opposite. What's the opposite of subtracting 4?
Addition.
Addition. How much are we going to add to both sides?
4.
You got it. So we're doing the same thing to both sides. 4 minus 4 is 0. And what do you do with X?
Drop it because it's hot.
There you go. So now X equals 3 plus 4, which is?
7.
7. There you go. Now remember this. In an equation, you can do the same thing to both sides and maintain equality, right?
Yeah.
So let's say Miss Jane goes in to get her haircut, right?
Okay.
If they take an inch off the left, how much should they take off the right?
Inch.
Right. If they took an inch off the left and not off the right, she would look crazy, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So an equality is you want to do the same thing to the left side as you do to the right side.
Okay.
All right? Very good job, Dalton.
Thank you.
You're representing, man. So now go do some problems and get ahead in math.